Hey guys, welcome to Man About Cake. I'm your host, Joshua John Russell, and this week I'm tackling a hand-piped frame cake. I'm gonna build a 3-tiered cake with an inlaid diamond pattern and finish it with a hand-piped border and some colorful sugar flowers. Let's do it! Okay, to start, we're gonna break down an 8-inch chocolate cake. My favorite. Love chocolate cake. What's your favorite cake? Let me know below. Chop this guy in half. This is a lot of layers. I don't know if I'm gonna use them all, but I like to have options. And you guys can eat the rest. Win-win.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Garbage cake?
Not yet.
Not yet. Nate, I'm so disappointed. Now we're gonna fill the cake with chocolate ganache. So this is a new ganache recipe. I like my ganache to be a little bit firmer. This is a little bit more soft, so it's spreadable right out of the bucket. Look at that. Delicious. This recipe is all yours if you want it. Just click the I, or you can go down there and get them in the description box. And while you're down there, hit subscribe.
What happens if you subscribe?
If you subscribe, what does happen? Then you're part of the family. Or you can hit the notification bell, and then that is when you get like the alert that I'm doing something stupid on YouTube. We're gonna leave one for garbage cake. Yes. Yay, garbage cake. All right, I'm gonna get this guy in the cooler, then we'll cut him, crumb coat him, final coat him. Let's go, buddy. All right, now we're gonna cover the cake in a little bit of teal fondant. I'm gonna roll this to an 1/8 of an inch thickness.
Eggshell blue.
No, what bird did that come out of?
It's like a robin's egg.
No, robin's eggs are very, very pale. This is like teal, more teal, or turquoise. Well, I actually have taught this cake a bunch of times live, so I'm not gonna teach it live anymore because I'm giving it to you on YouTube. When I normally teach this class live, the colors are very like soft and muted. But I had a student in Toronto that made this like really awesome Bollywood looking cake with all these bright colors. The student's name was Joanna Romero. So thank you, Joanna, for the color story inspiration. We're going bright with this one. Plus I love blue. Let's make a sugar rose. So I've got a little bit of pale red gum paste. We're gonna dust this a really vibrant red later, but to take white to red is really hard. So I'm gonna start with a base color. We're gonna roll this out and we're gonna put it through the pasta machine so we can get the petals really thin. Get a little snow here, but I just gotta roll it so it'll go through on the one setting, the dial on here. Okay, let's feed it through. Lasagna, that's 2. Let's take it to like maybe a number 4. There's 3, it's getting longer. 4, last one. This is aggressive, I don't need this much. It just kept rolling out. Okay, ooh, a scarf. All right, so we're gonna take our circle cutter and make our petals. So we need 1 to wrap around, and then we need 3 on the outside. That's 4, because I know how to do math. That's the only math I can do. Okay, so I needed 4 petals and I rolled out all of this. Oh, I'm gonna make some more flowers, so I'll still use it, but I'm gonna put it to the side. Okay, now we're gonna stretch our petals. I'm actually gonna stretch these with my fingers. I have a friend who is a cake designer, and she told me this is the way she stretches her petals, and it actually works really well. So what you do is put a little bit of cornstarch on your fingers, and then you just stretch them out. This is gonna thin them, make them a little more realistic, because all rose petals are a little bit different. They're not all circles. And then I'm gonna take my cell pen and just thin the very top. Now we're gonna glue it onto a cone. So I have a styrene cone here. That's kind of like the start of our bud that I just hot glued on a wire to. And then we're gonna paint it with a little bit of flour glue. This is just water and a little bit of Tyler's powder. And see, it gets thick like a gel, kind of like piping gel, but thinner. We're gonna coat the entire cone. So we're gonna wrap it around, covering the whole cone, making a nice little bud here, like so. Ooh. All right, now we'll add our 3 outside petals. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of glue kind of in the corner here where it's gonna stick to the rose. Our first petal. We're gonna tuck the second one into that one so it looks spirally like a rose. So while I'm holding it, I'm gonna go back and sort of glue and tuck the petals in and just kind of noodle it. Now we're gonna give it a little bit of life. So I'm gonna take some of the petals here and sort of pull them back and we give it like a little pinch. There we go. It's a rose now, little rosebud. You could keep going. You could put 5, 7, even 9 petals. You could wire some to the outside. I'm gonna make some smaller ones. So we're just gonna stop there. Now we're gonna make a second flower for the cake. This one's gonna be more like a fashion flower. It's just one that I kind of made up. So I'm gonna start with this styrene sphere here, and we're gonna paint it with a little bit of our gum glue, maybe just the northern hemisphere. All right, and we're gonna dip it in glittery sugar.
JJ Sprinkles!
JJ Sprinkles.
You ready for this? So that's gonna be the center for our flower. Put that to the side, and now we will roll out this purple color that I'm going to thin out, and then we're gonna wrap it like kind of like a ranunculus looking thing. It's gonna look ranunculously awesome. That's so dumb. So now I'm gonna take an X-Acto and kind of dissect it down the middle, but I'm gonna do it in like a wavy pattern. That way when we spin it around, the flower kind of has some dimension to it. So this is for 2 flowers. I'll put this one to the side for another flower. Now we're going to thin the top edge. So I'm gonna take my cell pen and do it first, and then we'll take this little guy and get some more detail in there. Okay, now we're gonna go back with our ball tool and get a little bit more detail in here. Actually, it's a little tall for me. I'm gonna cut down a tiny bit, put flower glue along the bottom here. So we're gonna dust this later with a darker purple. I'm keeping the glue just on the bottom edge because when I go to dust this later, if there's glue on a place where I'm gonna dust it, then it's not gonna stick. So I'm just gonna get the bottom edge and then we're gonna roll it up. I'm not gonna worry about the bottom because I'm gonna put a calyx over this. And then we're just gonna open up some petals. There we go. Now we're gonna stack the cake with bubble tea straws. I'm gonna use a little bit of a lift here. So this is just a piece of styrofoam. That way we can put all our sugar flowers underneath the bottom tier. Now it's time to create our inlay design. I created a template for you guys for the frame. You can get it in the description box below. So I printed it out and now I'm gonna cut it out. Now I've got a little bit of pink fondant. This is gonna be our frame.
Joshua, this is the season finale.
This is the season finale. It's the last one. Not forever though. We'll be back in a few weeks. Tell us what you wanna see for the next season down there. And while you're down there, hit subscribe. I always gotta say that. Why not? You're already down there. Boop. Okay, all right. I'm gonna cut this out with an X-Acto knife. All right, and then I'm just gonna take my fingers and smooth the sides down. This is where we'll pipe the frame around here. So all this will be covered up, but I want it to kind of look a little more bulbous.
Embossed.
Embossed is not the right word at all. Embossed is like when you create a design by pushing into something. Jeez, Brandon. Okay, I'm gonna put a little flower glue on the back of this and then we'll stick it to the cake. All right, now we're gonna add some texture. I've got this texture mat. I would have done it on the surface here, but I do it on the surface here and then I put it up there. It may warp a little bit. So I'm actually gonna like lightly emboss the design in while it's on the cake. I'll go back over it too with a Dresden tool, but just to get my markings here. Kind of line it up. So now that I've got the design kind of embossed in there, I'm gonna use my favorite tool in the world. It's a Dresden tool on one end and a stitchy tool on the other end. I think we use this like almost every episode. It's the best tool. Now we're actually gonna put some pearls where the different diamond pieces join together, but I'm gonna make it look a little bit like fabric. All right, and then I'm gonna come back and put in a little bit of detail, kind of make it look like it's stretching fabric. All right, now it's time to pipe our frame. I'm gonna freehand pipe this with a small star tip. All right, that looks good. So now we just gotta let it dry and then we'll paint it gold. Now that our icing is dry to the touch, we're gonna paint it gold with a little bit of gold dust, hydrated with some vodka. All right, now I'm gonna highlight all of my little pin cushion holes with a little bit of pink dust. It's gonna make the color really pop. All right, so now our flowers are done and our leaves are done. I also have some filler flowers because I really hate making filler flowers that I bought. A couple of them I dusted gold, and a couple of them I added a little bit of extra dust just to make them a little bit brighter. By the way, if you guys want to learn how to make filler flowers, I have a friend named Jacqueline Butler who makes really awesome flowers, and she has a tutorial. We'll put it in the eye or in the description box below. Let's decorate. Or whatever the song is that you decide on. Our hand-piped frame cake is complete. I think she turned out super awesome. But it's the end of the season and I'm really sad. But thank you guys for joining me every week. Thanks for commenting because I actually read those, and thanks for subscribing. So while we're on break, guys, find us on Facebook and find me on Instagram. I'll put everything in the description box below. And by the way, while you're down there, let me know what your favorite cake was of this entire season. Next season, we got some really awesome things coming. We're doing the Mac Fan Challenge, and we're also doing James's wedding cake. Yeah. I cannot wait. It's gonna be super fun. Let's eat. Now that deserves to be framed.
And about cake. Inlaid frame cake. Take one.
Yes. I don't know why I'm jumping around. I'm trying to get the energy going.
All right, Joshua. In 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I normally like my ganache to be a little firmer, but I figured maybe not. Let me start that over. And this week we're tackling a hand-piped frame cake. It's a round star.